Welcome back to Morgan's video blog, Morgan's online blog in video format. As always, feel free to subscribe below and tune in next week for more writing tips and writerly musings. Today, I come to you with remembering why I love being a writer. Sometimes when you're stuck at some writing stage for too long, it can be hard to remember why you started this thing in the first place. Whether you're drafting or editing, revising or querying or submitting or marketing, oh my god, the list goes on and on. There's likely to be some point at all of these stages where you feel like you're never going to reach the next stage. Me, I'm currently stuck in the query, get feedback, revise, get beta feedback, edit, send more queries loop, and have been on and off for 3 years. It can be really disheartening. Fortunately, I keep getting small tastes, little reminders of just why I do this. Here are 10 things I love most about being a writer. Number 1, exploring new worlds. Whether it's a what if scenario in my head or filling in the details from some hardly remembered dream, creating a world, exploring it, and finding out how it works is fascinating, at least for me. Second thing I love about being a writer, meeting new characters. I'm a friendly person, you might suspect. I love getting to know my characters, finding out their hopes and dreams, being there for them when they face their fears, and watching them grow into the person they were always meant to be. Plus, I like watching jerks get their comeuppance. Third thing I love about being a writer, finding out what happens and why. Often when I start a story, I know a couple of the key scenes and the broad strokes of the main characters, but it's not until I'm there with them in the trenches that I find out how they got there and what pushes them on. Instead of just a highlights reel, I get to see them through every step of the journey. Next up, when you get that turn of phrase just right. Now, this one's a little more technique related, but it's true. Sometimes you have an emotion or a concept or some witty dialogue that you agonize over conveying to the audience. The phrasing might come on the first try or 12 tries in on the 14th draft. But when you get it just right, you can just see your readers opting to highlight and share that sucker. You can see your story connecting with someone who's been there and needed to hear this line. Next up, number 5 of why I love being a writer, getting to read other writers' works early. I've opened myself up to the writing community and they've welcomed me with open arms. And the more beta reading and critiquing I do, the more I realize just how creative and talented my friends are. And the more I dream about just how awesome it'll be when we're all the big name authors and we can say about each other, I knew them back when. Which leads me to number 6, helping my friends fine-tune their novels. The flip side of number 5. This way, I get to watch great manuscripts turn into amazing stories that hopefully fly off the shelves. Being there and watching them learn and grow, and hopefully I'm picking up a few things myself along the way. So, number 7 of things I love about being a writer. This one's a little different. The terrifying hope that comes when an agent asks for more pages. Hope has never been so sharp as when I get that request or I click send to send those pages. Need I say more? Number 8 of the things I love about being a writer, having an answer outside of my day job when people ask me, so what do you do? I live in the DC metro area, and asking people, so what do you do, is asked almost before they ask what your name is. But not just politics and, that kind of thing. I also hang out with a lot of creatives, and I know that I'm more than just my day job. I like supporting my friends, consuming novels and webcomics and art, but I like being able to say that I'm contributing something too, not just a consumer. Number 9 of things I like about being a writer, seeing how far I've come and how much I've accomplished. I may not be agented or published yet, but I've got 1 polished novel, 2 rough drafts, a work in progress, a handful of short stories, some poetry, a blog, and a community that supports me. All this stuff takes work and dreaming and perseverance and persistence. It might be a bit egotistical, but I have to acknowledge to myself that I'm the reason this happened. And number 10, my favorite thing about writing, serendipity. Sometimes, on that rare occasion when I realize a plot point or background detail that just makes everything in my story come together. If you're a writer, why do you write? What's your favorite part? If you're not a writer, what do you do that fulfills you? What are your favorite parts about that activity? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, feel free to subscribe, ask any questions you'd like to see in later episodes, and tune in next week for more writing tips and writerly musings.